Okay. Hello, 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 all. Sorry for that background noise. I have my fan on, but it's okay. We're going to get through this. So, welcome to another episode of Pure Sessions with your girl, Lana Pure. And today I have a special episode, or special guest, I should say, coming on in about like 3 or 4 minutes. And today's topic, we kind of went back and forth with it. It's kind of like a bouncing of ideas type of thing. But the title of this week's episode is episode 52. Yep, 52. And this episode is titled Soul Care versus, scratch that, Self-Care, there we go, versus Soul Care. And the guest I have on, you've seen her in comments, and I've been on her show, Women of Reflections with 𝘂𝘕. And we're both, entrepreneurs, we're both, artists, we're both creative minds and things like that. And recently, her and I were discussing kind of like lack of motivation, lack of inspiration when doing the podcast. Because I don't know about you, if you've ever done a podcast, if you've ever done something that's like consistent, that's like every week, sometimes you do kind of get that writer's block, and sometimes you do kind of feel like, oh, I can't find anything to talk about this week and take a break. And I know for me, the times I've done that, the break turns into a week, which turns into like 2 weeks and 3 weeks and so on and so forth. So when she comes on, we're kind of gonna, just talk about soul care and self-care and other things like COVID, motherhood, dealing with people, good energy, bad energy. And a lot of times, with self-care, it's kind of hard to kind of like focus on taking care of ourselves when there's like so much other stuff going on. But a lot of times, your soul, your aura, your chakras, your energy sometimes gets pushed to the side because you're so busy trying to, like I said, focus on other people, trying to help other people, trying to make everybody happy. I know for me, I'm one of those people who, doesn't like to see somebody upset, doesn't want to like offend the person. So, I'll do everything, in my power to make them happy. And sometimes we kind of forget about ourselves. We kind of forget about catering to ourselves and taking care of ourselves because we're so busy, wanting to please everybody. And there's nothing wrong with that, wanting to, put smiles on people's faces. But sometimes, when is it our turn? When is it our turn to be catered to or be loved or worshipped or be just taken care of? And I feel like, and I mentioned this before, reflecting, regrouping, and so on and so forth. Sometimes you had to do that more than once. Sometimes it's just not going to be enough for like a weekend trip or something like that. Sometimes you might need like a month of, say, like no social media. Because I know for me, when I came back to social media, I guess essentially in the new year, I felt like I didn't miss anything. I felt like everything was the same as when I left it. Like, how you feel like you're missing something if you're not on it 24/7. And I guess for me, I thought if I'm like not on social media for more than like 2 hours, I'm missing everything. But when I came back, I was like, this is really it. Like, I was sweating about this entity, this app, but I'm like, nothing really has changed. And for me, sometimes I have to like physically step away from something, whether it be like a person, whether it be like social media, whether it be like a job, whether it be like, I don't know, the area you're in. Because sometimes the area you're in kind of not dictates your future, but more so kind of like can hinder your ability to be great, if that makes sense. So that's just my 2 cents about that. But without further ado, I'm going to invite 𝘂𝘕 to come onto the show, and we're going to get started. So, yes. Did it work? Hopefully I did this right. You there, girl? Is she there yet? Not yet.
Hi guys! Hey!
Hey! How
Hey,
are
Lana.
you? How you doing?
I'm doing great, honey. How is your Friday going so far?
Surprisingly pretty good. Usually the end of the week I'm kind of like blah, but today's been a good day, so.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Blessed, can't complain. We have life. The best thing ever.
That's true. Your hair looks
So we got to make the best of it. Thank you, girl. Natural city, natural city. Yes.
I know you came in like a couple minutes ago, but I was just giving, like, checking on people, giving like a synopsis, like a small synopsis of the title and, so forth and so on. But I didn't want to say too much because I knew we were going to be, going right into it. So if you want, because I didn't say too much, you want to introduce yourself and what you're about.
Okay.
There.
Okay. So hi guys, all my warriors tuning in. Thank you for supporting me tonight. I am Chevy. Well, Siobhan, but I like to be called Chevy. We'll keep it short. I am the co-founder and the owner of Women of Reflection, which is an empowerment group where I bring awareness, do a lot of self-love, self-care, women empowerment. I'm all about pouring into women and just helping us build that strong foundation and those great core values for ourselves. I have a podcast, which is also Women of Reflection, and where we do topics and talk about different things, whatever the topic is. It could be a poem or whatever. That's streaming live on all streaming platforms. And that's it.
I know there's more to the story, but
we got more, but I can't spill everything in the beginning. But yes, for now, that's it. What Women of Reflection is, our motivation is where all women are unified as warriors. And I believe that we all have things that's in us that are relatable, where we can connect, where we can relate on, and together as a collective group, we're all unified because of that issue, or because your story might empower me. What you've been through might have been bad for you, but you can encourage me so that I don't have to go through. And I think that's important, like sisterhood, empowering each other, supporting one another. We need that.
Definitely,
so.
Especially during this crazy time.
Yeah.
Best way to put it. So I know you and I discussed like our little list, our little agenda for today. So I didn't know if you wanted to go like boom, boom, boom.
Jump right in?
Or something you wanted to talk about first and then, dive into something else.
So do you have any questions for me before we jump right in?
I mean, I always have questions, but I don't want to make it just about that. So we can jump
in.
And I'll introduce
All right, so I'll jump right in. I'll tell my story, what inspired me to start my women empowerment. So I am a writer. I love to write, and writing has been a part of my healing journey. I had a traumatic experience in certain things, relationship, some of my family issues, family histories. We have generational curses that we need to break. And that as a young kid, as I was growing through it, I didn't know how to deal with it. So I had a diary, and it was Lion King, because back in the days that was cute. Like, I think Lion King just came out. So for me, it started when Lion King first came out. I had a Lion King diary, and I started to write. And as I got older, I kept that routine and technique. And I would read the things that I would write. And I was like, did I say that? Ooh, that's so deep. Like, it really resonated with me. And then it reflects too for me to see the things that I no longer needed to stand for. I am a mother of 3, and I'm a single parent. And in my journey of that relationship, it was toxic. Domestic violence, mental abuse, emotional abuse. I've been through a lot, enough for me to say I'm done with life and I can't do it anymore. So in my writing, a lot of the things I would read, and I'm just like, you know how you watching a movie and you'd be like, if that was me, I wouldn't stand for that. I would read my writing and say, what is wrong with you, girl? Like, you can do this. You can be better than this. So faith over fear, I was able to leave that relationship and blossom into the person I am now. And it was more than just self-care. It was soul care. And that is so important, because in the beginning, I wanted to leave and I was stuck because I just didn't know how to. So everybody's like, focus on yourself, focus on yourself. And when you hear that, what do you think? Okay, I'm going to do my hair. I'm going to do my nails. Ooh, let me try doing my lashes. I did everything to make this appearance great. But the inside was still missing so much. And because of that, I know that it was deeper. So my thing, after writing, I did meditation, and I took it to the word and prayer, and I started to really ask God, like, why me? When is it going to end? Don't I deserve more? Like, don't you see the kids, God? The kids are starting to like peep, like, help me, help me, help me. So in that journey, I was lost, because sometimes when you speak to God, you don't even know what his answers are. Like, is that God talking to me, or is that my real answers? Because it's like, stay a little longer. No, that wasn't God. That was you, boo. So I think with that, it just made me a lot of quiet time, a lot of meditation, just stripping myself from all of this, washing, no makeup, no nothing, because even with it, I didn't feel great. And just really starting with the deepest, darkest root in my soul and replacing it with a positive root. And I think it's so important for us as women, just as a collective humans, like, we need to really do that. We fix the outer, whether it's, buying your body or buying a whole, like, I spend a lot of money on makeup, but still feel empty inside. It's so important.
No,
yeah.
True. For me, because I do kind of still have that, like, emptiness, maybe not like as much as when I was younger, but for me, it would be, I had to be skinny. I had to look like everybody I saw in the magazines, because growing up, I was like, this, I'm very shy, and I had low self-esteem, and I felt like, social media, magazines, TV, that's how you're supposed to look to get the guy and have friends, things like that. So I was always self-conscious about my weight. I didn't want to eat. I always got picked on because I guess I was tall and big. That was my MO for, like, all of middle school and high school. The tallest in the class and, like, a little bigger than everybody else. But I guess for me to find, like, that void, to find something to fill in that void, it was eating. It's the opposite. I ate because I felt like, well, nothing I'm doing is working, so let me just eat and just call it a day. But I had to realize that, the saying, if you don't love yourself first, you can't expect anybody else to love you. I had to finally get to the point, I'm almost there, like 92% there, where I'm okay with how I look. And I'm okay if people don't, like, understand me. You know what I mean? Like, I was so focused on trying to please everybody else and trying to make everybody else happy that I kind of, with the soul care, kind of pushed that down, kind of buried that down. I felt like it wasn't important. Like, it really wasn't what was needed for right now. Because I'm a person who wants to make, everybody happy, everybody smile. But at the same time, I kind of give, and don't really get to focus on me until, like, oh, I'll do it later. Well, I'll worry about myself later. Oh, it's fine. But it's still that void. It's still there. Like, it's not with relationships, with the makeup, clothes, with relations and things like that. Like, nothing's filling it long term. So I'm still on that journey to find, what that thing is. I'm, like, almost there. But it's a journey that I'm excited for, doing it for the right reason, not, like, for somebody else. That's kind of where I am now. Like, I'm doing this for me, not to please or keep somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's a struggle.
And it's a very difficult journey, don't get me wrong. And that's why I think people choose self-care first over soul care, because self-care is a quick fix. Like, I could pay for someone to box braid my hair real quick with very long braids and I feel cute. Right. You know what I'm saying? But soul care takes time. And you can't put a fast, quick time limit on it. You have to really just take your time. You have to be able to acknowledge and understand what it is. And sometimes touching that root, it numbs you. Sometimes touching that root, it's like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I don't even want to go there because it doesn't feel great. It's not a great, like, that soul care is dark, ugly. There are some days where, and I like to encourage people to do, like, the mirror check, that's why, that reflection. When I looked in the mirror in the time that I was focusing on my self-care, and I felt great. I thought I looked cute, and I would buy, like, I love to shop. I love fashion. So it's like, all right, I'm buying all these things. And I didn't see what everybody else saw. So I love your hair. I love your outfit. And I'm just like, really? You're so beautiful. And I'm like, really? Inside. That mirror check, I saw my soul. So I couldn't receive what everyone was saying to me because I didn't see that. What I was feeling and what I saw in my mirror check was my soul. It spoke to me. It was like, no, I'm not happy. No, behind this. Did you know I was crying this morning? Did you know that I was a ninja for my son and I did TikToks with my daughter and I was really tired? Like, no, Did you know that? No, you didn't, because the makeup is hiding. I had to go in the bathroom and touch it up in that part. Yeah, so it's a journey. It's dark, it's ugly, but it's important. And I think that's what I want us to normalize. Like the world, we have to start there. Let's not do because what soul care is, it's a whole body. Internally, your outer layer, it fixes everything. That self-care kind of just patches the front. It just worries about what you can see, not what you can't. And that's important. But have that both.
Yeah, that's true. And what are your thoughts on like temporary satisfaction versus longevity satisfaction? Like, I know that's like a loaded question, but like there are things that are cool for right now. This is great. But then like tomorrow you're like, oh man, I'm still feeling this way. Versus getting to the point where we want to touch that dark spot or dive into that dark spot to get to the longevity of happiness. I know for me it's a struggle. I'm like, oh, if I do this for a bit, I'm gonna be happy right now. But I know I wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna be like, man, I still feel this way, and this one thing is cool, but like I'm still like I'm still on my knees praying. I'm still asking God, what am I missing? And I guess for me, either I'm not listening to his word, or I am, but I'm like, I want to do it my way. That's kind of like where I am. I know that's like a bad thing to say, but I just feel like I have other ways I can get to this happiness versus what I know is the healthy way. That's probably better yet what I'm saying. I don't know if you feel that with certain things too, but
yeah. So the word I heard you ask is satisfaction. Mm-hmm. So in satisfaction, there's an end goal. There's something that you want to achieve. Why choose temporary when you can have the permanent? Like your permanent has to be bigger than the temporary. Do you understand? Yeah. Like if I want that end goal, the bigger goal, that's my tunnel vision for that bigger goal. I don't want anything temporary because the word temporary, it's only here for today. It's not going to be for long. So I think if we keep that in our minds and know that and put our tunnel vision on, that's what we'll aim for. That's what we'll reach for. And you have to use that as your daily motivation to keep on pushing. You got to keep pushing. Even when it hurts, even when it's down. And we have this conversation all the time, being in the stuck position, because I have been that. I've been that with my podcast, in my relationship, in my motherhood. Some days I don't know. And I just like, man, I'm blank. And I always come to you when it's with the podcast, or I just vent to you about a lot. But and we talk, and share a lot. But in that stuck position, we go right back to what? Our goal. Yes. And the goal is our motivation. We have to stay motivated to get to that end goal. Forget all the temporary things that's happening now. Today I had a bad day at work. The kids was this, that was that. That is in this moment. It's temporary. But my goal is to inspire. My goal is to motivate. My goal is to spread the word and support into women around the world that we are warriors and we can do it. I believe it. And with the permanent girl. Too. Yes. Scratch out the temporary.
That's funny. So do you feel like, because I know for me, if I wasn't doing the podcast and I wasn't trying to network and brand, I wouldn't be on social media. So I always ask people this: do you feel social media is like a bad area, or is it like it has its moments that is helpful? Because for me, I wish I wasn't on social media. I find it too unnecessary emotions being wasted, if that makes sense. But for me, I guess now, the day and age, everything's on social media. But I like the person-to-person interaction. Like, back in the day where you actually talk to people to try to network, not like message a bunch of million different people that you don't even know. But I feel like social media, in a way, is good, but at the same time, it's draining. It's physically draining because you're constantly trying to compete with the next person. I mean, that's like life, but I feel like social media kind of puts it like on like a level 10 necessarily. Yeah. Whether you're an artist, musician, podcasters, a poet, a blogger. I don't know. I feel like it has some good points, but like the other points are kind of like, man, this is exhausting. At least in my opinion. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah. Well, how I feel about that is there are positive side to things and there's negative side. And I feel like social media is made to be a platform to network and to get to know a lot of different things that's going on. How you tend to use it is your choice. But if you don't find the balance in it, it can break you instead of making you, you know? And I think it's super important that you know that. Like, I believe in everything in life, we need balance. So if I'm on it from 8 a.m. until 12 o'clock because I'm just scrolling and scrolling and I want to see everybody's life and what are they doing today, so maybe I can get an idea. Okay, oh, they did this with their kid. Oh, they got matching sneakers. Oh, they're couples. Oh, they look good. And I'm trying to find whatever I can in everybody else's life. What is that doing for you? You know what I'm saying? So you got to find the balance in it. You have to make sure that you balance it, and also understand your reasoning for it. So for me, I cut it off. I didn't have social media for 7 years. And then when I started Women of Reflection, I was like, oh, okay, I need social media because I need to network. I want to get to know more women and I want to spread the word. I have so much to share. But I had to cut it off because I wasn't finding the positive in it. It was like I was depressed. I was down. I felt like there was so much that I needed to focus on to help me grow and get to a place I needed to be. And I wasn't using it correctly or using it properly. So I cut it off and I was able to really make that time for just living in the moment and doing the work within myself. Because when you're doing soul care, some days you have to do it alone. And it's important. We tend to run, pick up the phone. I'm going through this. I'm going through that. Sometimes your answers are within yourself. You just need to sit with yourself and deal with it. Feel it out. Hear it out. It's ugly. You might cry. You might look in the mirror and be like, why am I doing this? Yes, it's good. It's good for your health. This is what you need. Continue. It's important. So I think with that, you know, with social media for me at that time, I had to let it go because I needed to do a deep cleanse. And I had to get rid of that part of me, the old me, the nasty, the negative, and just really focus on what my issues were. And then now I'm back and I'm healthy with Women of Reflection, girl. High five to me.
High five to you. Yes.
Yes.
To the part you said, sometimes you have to do it by yourself. I've been learning to try to reflect on myself because I know for me, before when I'd be going through something or I have a problem, I would run to a person or run to an outlet doing something. But I figured, I realized after a while, I'm like, man, it's really hard out here because when it's reversed, like say if somebody needs your help with something, if they're feeling some type of way of need your support, I'm all for it. I'll be supporting you till my lungs get dry. I'll be helping you, listening to blah, blah, blah. But then when it's reversed, like if I need like a check-in call, they're ghosts. And it's like, why do I feel like I have to like beg for your attention when for me, it's like effortless, I think, if that makes sense. And everybody's different. Everybody handles things. But I just noticed that a lot with social media when it's reversed or people are seeing you shine, people are seeing you somewhat moving up. They kind of just want to act stank. It sounds like a job, but it's just like, it's so, they make it so complicated when it doesn't really have to be. Like, so artists supporting other artists or musicians or what have you, it's just all out of love. And then it really does show you, I've noticed at least this year, at least with COVID, really shows you who's really there, who's just there for the clout, who's really just there just because, versus people who actually care about you. And I had to cut a lot of people off or kind of just, distance myself from people because I'm like, I don't really need that energy when it's not needed because I'm all about energy. Even during COVID, I'm still all about what your energy is, what your vibe is. And if I feel like it's just to call it drama or just to be like extra, then I don't really need it. I've noticed that a lot too. So even my music, even with the podcast, because before I would be doing it live and I would have like maybe like 2 or 3 views. After a while, it messed with my head. I'm like, really? That's how y'all feel? But so, it's okay though. But now more so just like, oh, okay, you joined, cool. If you didn't, well, you missed a great episode. That's kind of like the mentality that I'm telling myself because I do have a lot to say, but sometimes the things I say, I guess, may hit you the wrong way, but the whole point of the show is to kind of make you rethink things at a different level versus just what's on the surface. So I had a question in there somewhere. It got lost in the sauce, but I think I
have a question for you.
Oh boy. No, I'm kidding.
Quick question. So when you started, right?
Yeah.
How many views did you expect to have on your first day doing it, your very first episode?
First time, I was trying to shoot for the stars, like maybe at least 10. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but in my head, so it is.
You expect, and how many did you have?
I had like 3, but it's okay.
Okay. So when you started, you said, okay, today's my first episode. I'm going to go live, or I'm going to do this recording, and I'm going to have 10. Your amount was 10 viewers, yeah, correct?
At least 10.
Okay. And then you had 3. And how did you feel when it was 3?
I was a little like, okay, but maybe it's because it's the day I'm doing it. Like, that's literally my thought. Because before I was doing it on Sundays at like 6. So I thought, oh, maybe it's because it's the evening, but winding down. But as I noticed doing it, you know, multiple weeks and blah, 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 it would be the same 3 people. I love it. But I'm like, really?
Okay, so I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. This is self-reflection. We're doing some mirror work. Okay, so you had 3. But what is your goal for being a podcaster? Like, what's your goal with doing your episodes? What's that goal?
Really, it's going to sound childish, but it's really to just have people either A, look at things differently, B, understand that I'm you and you are me, we all go through things, but, and C, there we go, also, you're not alone, basically. Like, I'm losing my train of thought. Really, it's just mostly, A, you're not alone. B, there is somebody else who's going through what you're going through, and I have like maybe 2 or 3 cents I can give you. And really just to inspire the next person. Because I know for me, I'm a people, and I feel like if you kind of see the person's reaction, their facial things like that, it's more, you know, personable than just listening to it, at least for me.
Okay, so 0 to 3. And you had 3 people that you were able to give that to. That matters. That's enough. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. We look for the finished product, which was the 10 people, and you didn't get that. That's in your mind. That's what you wanted. But you reached your goal with 3 people. And then I bet you posted and got likes, and other people can, you know, tune in and join in. But remember your goal. You said people. There were 3 people on it. You won. You did it. And that's all that matters. And that's what we have to remember.
Okay. I see you Yodaed me, but that's okay. I appreciate it. No,
you don't agree with me? You don't agree?
No, I do. It was just my mentality for the show then versus now. Like what you just said is how I'm thinking it now. But back then,
yes,
I was just like, wow. But I'm saying that's what I meant by that comment. Like that's
okay.
Back then, I was just like, did I say something wrong type of thing? That's my mentality.
Yeah.
Because I was new to it. I didn't know what I was doing, who I was catering to. I didn't have like an audience just yet. So
I think we do that. Like as humans, we tend to kind of like beat on us because we have this big vision in our head, but we want to see it now.
Right away.
And we have to understand that everything in life is a process. And in that process, you have the good, the bad, the ugly, and the very ugly. So you got to accept it all, but continue. That mindset has to remain positive. Like my goal is to inspire. My goal is to encourage. My goal is to empower. My goal is to help others break generational curses. My goal is to make sure every woman stands strong with self-confidence, self-love, and we all are warriors. So if you sing it today, you can rap about it, say it, whatever you do, you're still a warrior in my eye. You know what I'm saying? We have to keep that mindset in the good, the bad, the ugly, and the very ugly in order for us to make it and win, you know? Yeah. And the small wins count, and we don't think about that either. So that's very important. I won today because I'm up. I won today because I'm alive. I won today. Why? Because I thought I was going to die years ago. I felt like giving up years ago, but today I'm here to inspire and be on your lovely episode. So yes, high five to you. High five to you. Because why? You encouraged 3 people when you started, and now we got a whole live with how many people? Enough people. So look, thank you, Jesus.
But it's so funny. No, but that's appreciated. I thank you. And I think after a while, even though I had those 3 consistent people, I guess I felt a little better because I'm like, oh, I got a little fan club. My 3 little people come on. And actually, they would ask me, what's your next episode about? So I kind of got out of my bag, out of my feelings. Kind of was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I am helping this person today. these two people today. So that's kind of what I had to tell myself. Kind of get
Yeah.
my feeling, just focus on, like you said, the purpose, why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Before I wasn't doing it live. I was just doing the audio version, but I felt maybe I should start doing it live and go a different direction. So
Yeah.
here I am now, 52 some odd episodes later. So.
And you know what? It's still a part because, okay, the importance of your inner soul. We have to make sure that your soul, think of it as a plant. Sometimes we're too hard on ourselves, and what we feed those thoughts into ourselves, it just keeps us down. It doesn't really help us grow. Some days we're like down about it. Some days we're like, yeah, I feel better, and really don't feel better because we're back that way. You know, motivation on Monday, and on Wednesday we're depressed. You know, so we have to remember that our soul care is so important because what we feed ourselves, we have to mean it. Don't just say motivation on Monday and you know you're not that motivation should have took you to next Monday, okay? If it doesn't, you're not doing something right, sweetie. We got to start over and make sure that whatever you're pouring into yourself is really things to nurture you. So thank you, God, or thank you, whoever you serve or whatever, because I have 3 followers, and then tomorrow I'll have 10, and I pray that you use my voice because our voice has so much value. We got to use ourselves, but stay connected and nurture yourself. I'm telling you that your mind frame matters. We have to. Our thought process can really damage a lot with our inner soul. Yeah. So we have to make sure that we stay focused, that tunnel vision, whatever your main goal is, whatever you want, just keep that tunnel vision to keep pushing. It's so important. You are great. You are awesome. You are beautiful. You will inspire. Don't say I'm trying what I wanted to. Let's get rid of those bad words. Okay. I call them bad words in my home. You know, my kids are not allowed to say trying or can or wanted. There's no such thing. You give your best and nothing less. And that's all. We can do it.
Yeah, you should be running my show. I'll just sit back. Okay.
This is sisterhood.
No, I feel that because for me, I'm a huge overthinker when I don't need to be, and I'm a huge overthinker when I have to be. I know that made no sense, but basically it's more so like if you say, oh, good show today, and in my head, as soon as I hit end live, I'm like, this show was a mess. I could have done this better, that better, and this better. But then I just got told that the show was great. I'm like, yeah, but did you see that? Or did you see my eye twitch? Did you see I missed that? So I think for me, because this is new for me, doing these live and physically staring at a camera talking about whatever under the sun, I guess I'm just so used to coming down on myself because that's just my thing that I do. And obviously, you know, it's not healthy, but it's just what I've been doing. So I'm like, you really meant that? Or is it like a secret motive? Like, that's kind of like what I be thinking, but I'm trying to get out of that. Like, oh, okay, you actually listen. Because some people just come.
You said a word. You said a bad word. Let's go back. Say it again. We can do that. No trying. We're not trying. I will. You got it.
I will. There we go. I actually hope you didn't catch that. That's why I kept talking, but you got it. It's that mom in you. Like, that's what it is. My mom catches every word I say. I don't understand.
Yes, Mama. Tell her I'm filling in for her tonight.
but that's just, I just, now I'm just like, oh, well, I actually, like you said, believe what I'm saying. Not just saying it just because the camera's on, but actually believe what I'm saying. Because, you know, on my other page, I do the quotes every day. And I actually believe what I'm saying. I'm not, like you said, just putting it out and then actually crying as I'm posting it. No, I'm like, actually believing the words. Even when you're talking to somebody about something, they can tell when you're just saying it just because. Like, you gotta actually feel it and believe it, you know? Not like pushing it on them, but like it's the energy, the vibe and stuff like that. Especially if we were ever like in person, you can tell the person's energy. So and
I believe that I think negative energy is a bad habit.
Yeah.
I look at it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I love soda and I just keep drinking soda and I know I should be drinking water, that's just a bad habit. Yeah. And I think that we, like I said, going back to the soul care, like, we have to be very careful of giving our soul those bad habits. It doesn't deserve that. Like, your positive thinking, your positive mind, your affirmations, those are all things to help you grow. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very big, I always say it, of turning negative things into positive. I'm a strong believer. If there's something negative, you can try to find something positive out of it. Just something. It must be. And it's like, you know, when you have this expectations of what you want and it didn't go that way, because I was an overthinker as well. I overthink everything. I still do. I'm not going to act like I'm perfect, guys. In certain areas, I still overthink. But what I'm learning to do is just trust the abundance of life. God, if it was meant for me to be that and have that today, in this moment, I would have. So what you have given me, I will choose to make it work. I would choose to find my path. I would choose to make spaghetti instead of lobster. Whatever you gave me, provided me in this moment, I will make it work. And I thank you for that. And that's the positive way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Even though you're craving for that lobster, make that spaghetti.
Don't be thinking on spaghetti now. I mean, like, spaghetti be rocking on some good days. At least for me. I think need spaghetti, soup, pasta. What was it? Ramen noodles. I had that in college all the time. Not even before. So, but I get you credit for it, though. But I know you told me this before, but I guess it's for everybody, because what their comfortability level is. There we go. Can you do your show, your podcast, just the audio version? Have you thought about doing it like this, or just for the? So in my planning originally, it was supposed to be audio and video. And girl, that takes a lot of time. It does. I'm shy, and people don't really know that about me. That's a fun fact. I am shy. I'm shy, but and then I wasn't comfortable with speaking. I felt like I sound weird, confidence. So as I just went out there, every time I spoke, I realized how much value my voice has, how many people I can inspire. And I'm telling you, each time I've done it, I've gained another feather to fly, to spread, whatever you want me to be, a bird, a butterfly. I was just like flapping away, and I gained confidence, but I wouldn't have gained that if I didn't give it a try. You know what I'm saying? If I kept those negative talks, like, you're too shy, you're not smart enough, you don't speak well enough. No, Chevy, you got this. Go out there and be you. And that's one thing about the soul care, because when you're going through that journey of soul care, as you're taking off the layers of the negative and the deep roots of the hurt and the pain, it reveals your true, authentic self. And this is who I am. So I don't want to do video, though. I will stick to audio. This is who I am, but I will stick to audio because my voice is great. Right, guys? Thumbs up if you like it. No, I do. I love it. I'm just saying, I was just curious as to, like, if you were thinking of going to that direction, because I do watch a lot of podcasters, potters, I never got that word right, and listen to them too. And I don't know, just for me, I guess I'm just weird like that. I just feel like when I can see their face and what they're talking about, it just hits home more. I don't know, maybe because I just got to.
Oh, okay.
You know, versus like. Well,
I'll add that to the list. I'll definitely add that to the list. But for now, if you want to see my face, I post selfies on my Instagram. That's good enough. Just put a face with the voice. You guys will be okay, okay? Follow me at Women of Reflection on Instagram and Facebook. There goes the face.
I have been peeping your affirmations, your motivation.
Thank you.
Posts. I was like, where did she come up with these? Because it's hard. Doing it every day as I do, I'm like, I'm getting tired. But I keep pushing because I'm like, somebody somewhere needs to see this, you know? Yeah, that's what I'm learning, because I'm trying to build up that page as well too, but I'm going to just focus on that page as a quotes page, and then this page as my music and the podcast and things like that. Because I feel like whenever I see a quote, no matter what I'm feeling after I read it, I feel a little bit better. Whatever I'm reading, just somehow it hits some part of my soul. I don't know, I'm weird like that. Yeah.
So perfection does not come overnight, and I think for me, in my journey, I am still in like construction mode. I'm still in that rebuilding phase every day. I want to grow. I want to learn. I want to be the most healthiest person. I want to remove every negative thought, every negative root. So I am doing the work. And as I do the work, I'm using my life as an example. So when it comes to my affirmations and the things that I post, it's things that I'm going through, things that I use to inspire me, and I just want to share it to inspire others. So it's a part of that.
No, I love it. I feel like that's the best way to do it, because I really read. Like, you know, people say, oh yeah, I read your quote, what did it say? But I actually like read what you say in other pages too. I feel like that's the best way to really get it. If you're just skimming through the page, it's like, okay, you didn't really hear it. But I don't know. Like with my episodes, I feel like, did you really watch it, or you just tuned in a little bit? But I mean, I get it. People are busy, but it's just like people say, oh yeah, I loved your show. I'm like, okay, but what part? I'm like, I'm petty, but no. But the fact that you tuned in for a minute.
That was the petty part. That's the petty part, Lana. You asked for 10 people, as long as they tune in. Now you want them to take notes. That was not in the original plan. Let's go back to the original goal. And thank you for watching. If whether you took notes or not, I made it to 10 and more.
No, I really am humble. I'm just being goofy, but no, I really do appreciate the words and stuff that I have on, because I'm like, y'all really rock with me every week. Because in the beginning, I would just be talking about like relationships. I had a Valentine's Day episode, and I got a lot of flack for that episode because people said I sounded bitter. I'm not a fan of Valentine's Day. I feel like it's just like a day. Like, I don't really get the whole point of it. But they felt that I sounded a little bitter and jaded. And I got asked so many times, like, but who hurt you? I'm like, nobody. It's just a
You're
day.
true.
It's just a day. It's just a day. Like, you get flowers, they'll die in an hour because I'll forget to water them. You give me chocolate, but I don't like dark chocolate. I like caramel. Or you want to go out on a date. I'm like, okay, but how come you couldn't take me on a date yesterday? Why is today the only day we can go? I'm one of those, so don't mind me with Valentine's Day. But I don't know. I feel like now having the guests on kind of helped. I kind of get more inspiration and more ideas as we're talking and bouncing off things like that. Because after a while, I felt like I was just rambling. I'm like, what am I? So I appreciate the viewers and the people who have come on and things like that. I think you get a better perspective, and you get to know the person too. I find out a lot of things I didn't know about the person after the episode's over. So I think that's pretty cool. So that's my whole thing, trying to showcase the artist, the talent, and not just have me talking for like an hour because it gets tiring.
What is your self-care routine?
Me? Oh.
Yes.
I mean, does like playing music count? Because that's kind of like my self-care.
Definitely.
I don't really have. I would love to have like an actual like a what is it? I can't think of words today. Like a bubble bath with like some wine or something like that. But I feel like if I'm not working, I feel like I should be working. Like I'm one of those. Like if I'm like relaxing for too long, I could be making a song. I don't know. But for me, that's kind of like my regroup, restart type of thing. Playing music, whether it's the saxophone, the trumpet, or DJing, or writing poetry. I don't know. I like writing poetry too. Just words that come to me. I don't really think it's poetry. I think it's just thoughts in my head and I just write them down. It doesn't even make sense, but I'm just like, oh, I got that out.
It's poetry. There's no rules. There's no wrong answers. It's poetry. If that's what you want to call it, we'll go on with that. It's poetry. That's fine.
I suppose. But I think even now, even especially during COVID, just being in one spot for so long, it's definitely been music. Definitely creating music and learning how to create music and distribute music and engineer music. And now doing the podcast, like I told you, editing, posting, it's a lot of work. You have help. I'm so done, but doing all this.
Shout out to the team.
It is exhausting. And now I have more respect for people who actually do this for a living, because I'm like, there's so many levels and so many steps. And I literally just have my phone and my laptop. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no equipment. It's just be myself and I. So.
Well, how about soul care? Do you have a soul care time, routine? Do you find importance in that, or is that something like you kind of just shove to the side and ignore?
Put me on the spot.
And if you want, I could specify, like if you need me to go into what I mean by soul care, like the deepest, darkest things that truly bother you. And that takes some time, but we don't got to deal with you. What I want you to understand is when you're doing this, don't take everything. It's like, no, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. No. Don't take your whole list. Start with that one big thing, whatever that is. The first thing that comes to mind. So now I say soul care. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Don't share it with your viewers. Tell me, do you take that and make that a priority to start working on?
Yes. Now.
You do?
I do. Now. Not like, but like, definitely in the last year or so, off and on, but definitely heavy in the past, like 7, 8 months. At least I thought I did. Knowing me, like I'm a procrastinator, but I felt like this was gnawing at me too much. And I felt like I was getting the same results because I wasn't changing or altering anything. But I guess in a way I do have some soul care, or I try to care some soul care, at least with one aspect that's kind of like swarming around me for years and years and years. A little bit. I chip at it a little bit.
So is it something that you make it your duty to focus on daily, or is it something that you once in a while just kind of tune into?
It used to be once in a while, when I would notice how I would react to certain things. But now it's definitely every other day kind of thing. Pushing myself to do it every other day kind of thing.
So we have a question from one of our viewers that says, what is soul care? Do you want to, before I touch on it, do you want to give your opinion on that for them? Yeah. What do you think? So define what soul care is to you.
We're thinking I'm like some guru. I'm just here. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Okay. Oh my God. On the spot. No. For me, in my opinion, at least what I do or want to do, I feel like soul care really, it's gonna sound cheesy, but really it's just blocking everything out. At least is what I do. I blocking everything out and just focus on the one thing that is gnawing at my insides. And for me, that's not it. For me, it's trying to get better at being okay with being by myself. Like, I don't like being by myself. Not like literally by myself, but like relationship wise. And I feel like even when I was in relationships, I still always felt alone, whether it be 2 months down the line, 6 months down the line, or whatever. And people always say, "Oh, why don't you just go out to eat by yourself?" But I'm like, why? People looking at me. I couldn't even do that because I felt like I should be with somebody else. But recently, I've just really just written. I'm taking a page out of your book, no pun intended, just written stuff down and just really, it's more like a journal, diary, confessions, and just really write out, you know, what I'm feeling and things like that. Like, why can't I be okay with being by myself? Like, I'm always thinking that you should regroup and restart and cater to yourself, but why can't I do the same thing that I'm preaching? So I'm always gnawing at that, like, if what I'm saying is believable, or am I just trying to convince myself? So for me, I just try to write out things and just really sit and reflect as to why I can't be okay with that at this age, at 28. Like, even still at 28, I'm still like, man, I'm still alone, but that's okay. I say that, but I don't actually believe it. So now I'm trying to focus on trying to believe what I'm saying and be okay with that, versus just putting on like a facade and be like, oh yeah, I'm by myself. I don't need anybody. Yet deep down, I'm like, man, if I had somebody, I would feel whole. But yet when I have that person, I still feel empty. You know what I'm saying? That was a long answer. It went around in circles. Hopefully that answered it.
Listen, there's no wrong answer. You answered the question. Thank you very much. I'm going to give my answer of what I think it is. So we all go through things, right? Nobody has, like, you know, perfection is what you make it. We have ups, we have downs. Whether we face something traumatic in our childhood or in our adult life, every day we can face something. I believe that soul care is giving attention to the wounded soul. And it gives that attention so that you can maintain a healthy life and a healthy soul. It's like your maintenance check. Your car is acting up, you get a service light. Whatever, you know, your phone needs an update. So soul care is that check for your body, your soul, the inner things that we either been through, face, that are toxic, that are traumatic. And sometimes we think, like, we start to believe, oh, I got over that. I'm done with that. Nope, you're not. It's within your soul. And because you're smiling today, like I said, that motivational Monday, and then you sad on Wednesday, it's important that we give that maintenance to our soul so that we can grow, heal properly. And that's what soul care is. It's that maintenance for that wounded soul. Yeah, that's my definition. What do you think about that? Guys, thumbs up if you agree. Clap your hands. Show us some love. Drop a heart. Yes.
I think you actually answered the question. I think I was just talking about myself.
There's no wrong answers, Lana.
Oh God. Goodness. You're really just trying to get to the core of my
listen, my goal in life is to see everyone be their true, authentic self. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes time and it's ugly and it's work, but there's so much that we can inspire. You inspired me all the time. And when I speak to you, it's like, no, I'm not. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Nuh-uh, girl. You just inspire me. Don't change my mind now. So I want you to always remember that. Keep that main goal, that my job was to encourage and use my episode and my platforms to, you know what you said, inspire and encourage others, and that you can see that you're not alone. So you given that to me, and I hope our viewers gain that today. Self-care versus soul care. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other, but it is an importance to start with soul care over self-care. Because the soul care gives that inner, it gives that outer, and then the self-care only covers that outer. So it's important to have both, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. Like, I encourage that. However, you can do it with many ways, and I'm going to give you guys 3 gems later, and also find a community that supports that. You shared before, like, sometimes I'm going through and I don't have anyone to turn to. A lot of the things that I've discovered and understood was maybe through hearing it from myself, my truth, my music, and then my community of support. You know what I'm saying? I had to find, because sometimes we're searching for that, oh, I need advice. And who you're giving advice to can't even find the proper advice to give to their own issues. So we got to be very mindful. You know what I'm saying? Find a community that have like-minded, you know, people that you want to grow from and gain from, and be okay with uncomfortability. Like, oh my gosh, I can't sit at a table with doctors and lawyers. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay? It doesn't matter if you start by filing papers in the law office. If you want to be a law office, you want to be a lawyer, you sit at that table and you hold your head high and you learn, because you can gain so much. You know what I'm saying? When I met you, what did I say? I was like, I was so shy. And I was like, why was I shy? Cut it out. She does the same thing you do. You can learn and say, listen, this is new to me. I'm afraid, but I'm here to learn. And be okay with that. So I think that's just important. With that, now I lost my train of thought of where I was going with that, but you get the point. Self-care is important over self-care, and with that, you grow to be your true, authentic self, and your true confidence. That is the strongest confidence. I'm telling you, it's better than putting the MAC makeup on and getting the wigs and the lace fronts and even the natural hair products. That care for your soul is so important, because it really gives you a confidence that you can conquer the world. You can't tell me I can't fly. I can. Watch me.
So 2 questions. They're kind of polar opposites. So one, actually it's 3. Yeah. Okay. So you can answer them any way you want. So views on COVID, vaccinated, not vaccinated, masks, etc. That's like one question. The second one was, and I think we talked about it, where do you find your inspiration, or do you feel yourself having more of it now, or it's kind of like a stretch and a reach? That's the second question. And the third question was like relationships, like, well, I know you're in one, but like before, do you feel like, because for me sometimes, like even when I was younger doing different things, I kind of had to like just focus on what I was doing to accomplish, and kind of felt like having that other body or having the other person was like a distraction. I know it sounds kind of jank, but sometimes you just need to like be by yourself to do this thing versus always having to be with somebody else, especially with music and doing the engaging and things like that. Like, I'm networking, but sometimes it's hard for me to tell, like, do you really want to work with me, or are you trying to, like, do something else? I don't know. I guess it's like that female mentality, but I don't know for me. So those are my 3 long-winded questions.
I'm about to say, girl, you're going to have to start back at, what was one again? I'm going to turn it to my child right now. All right. I remember 3, so we'll start at the top. So the third, what was the actual question? Relationships, and is it a distraction? Was that your question?
Yeah.
Am I correct or no?
Yeah, in the shorter version.
You were saying my previous relationship.
Yeah.
Or,
well, I know
okay.
Right now, I know that's great, but I meant your previous one.
Was it a distraction for my journey?
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's no way. Okay, so like I said, I needed to do the soul care work in order for me to create Woman of Reflection. Mm-hmm. That took a long time because it was a long relationship. 10 years is a long time to be with someone. And his habits became my habits. His darkness became my darkness. As I was trying to pour into him so we can be great, he was sinking and so was I. He was just grabbing me right behind him. And I had to realize, like, my end goal, that satisfaction, I wanted more. I knew we could have more. And I needed to know that sometimes we doesn't have to be we. You can go over there and do what you got to do. But me, I need it because they need it. And they're my end goal. You know, they're my motivation. I got to do it for them. I got to do it for me. But if I keep on drowning with you, how can I? By the time I get myself to catch air, we sinking again. So it was a distraction for me. And I knew that I needed to leave that to be who I am today. And it was hard. It was not easy. But I knew that there was more to life. And I just could not watch every year the same thing. It gets good, it feels good, and then it goes back to bad. And it was just the same routine, and it was toxic. It was mentally draining, emotionally draining, not just for me, for my children as well. And of course, as a mom, you want the best, but you can't. It was hard to push. It wasn't impossible, because as I said, this Woman of Reflection, my planning for it, my first time speaking about it with my beautiful sister cousin, shout out to Vinny. I was the blogger, and I did a lot of writing, and I would email it to her. At the time I was living in New York, so I would email it to her, and she would like help me to try and post it. And I mean, it never happened because I just kept feeling I didn't have the confidence. I did not. I didn't think I was great. I didn't think whatever was happening around me made me feel less of. So it never came out the way it should have. And it could have. But I think it's important to have the confidence when you're doing something, because then if they ask me the questions, I'm going to put on a game face knowing that I was crying a few hours ago or crying just 5 minutes ago. It's important to really live in your truth. So in my soul care journey, I started to really do the work within myself, and I was big on that. And I love 𝚂𝚤𝚤𝚐𝚐. If you know me, I love 𝚂𝚤𝚤𝚐𝚐. I read her books, and I didn't have anybody. I lost my friends. I was far from my families that I was connected to. Thank God I'm here, now. My sister moved away, so, I had no one. But in that, I needed to know that that was God's preparation time for me. So even though I didn't have the confidence that I felt I need, God was already telling me that that wasn't time to utilize your voice. That was time for you to understand and get in preparation mode so that you can use it now. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
I appreciate that. The second, actually, I smooth forgot the second question. All right.
The second question. Okay. The first was COVID, but what was the second? Because we're going down.
I really forgot the second question. Okay, that's the done.
I think you said, where do I find motivation in my journey?
Oh, right. Motivation, inspiration.
Yes. I'm here. I'm still sharp, girl. I still got it. All right. Where do I find motivation? And do I lose it? So, yes, I'm hard on myself. Very hard. And I had to learn the hard way that I can share my journey in the process and not feel that I only need to do it when I'm perfect. you know, or at the end of the road, which is one of the quotes that I put up this week, because it's important. I always felt like I needed the final project to show who I am. You know, I really was hard on myself. I was like, I'm not social media. They don't need to see me. I'm not posting pictures of my kids. Like, I don't want to show my life. I'm not doing great. I'm tired of pretending. And it was just like, girl, just be you. You had a hard day today. Let them see it. You had surgery. It's okay. The world has, like, people in the world have surgery. It's okay. And that's a part of that soul care. I had to be okay with my truth, the deep, the ugly, the good, the bad, that soul, your soul truth, like the things that I'm facing was a part of me. And it was important for me to use that to inspire. And my biggest, because I'm a giver, so my biggest motivation is like being able to give back to others. It could be the smallest thing. You know what I'm saying? You're hungry today and you don't have any food. I will make a bacon, egg, and cheese, and you can have that half and I can have mine. Like, you know, I'm that person, and that's motivation. That's inspiring for me. Like, yes, girl, we made it. We just had a poppin' bacon, egg, and cheese. We ate. Now what's next? You know? So my motivation comes from the little things in life. The very, very little things in life. I'm motivated by my 8-year-old. I'm motivated by my 9-year-old. I'm motivated by my 12-year-old. I'm motivated by the students that I work with because, you know, in the day I work with children with special needs. They motivate me every day just by doing the littlest thing. And it could just be showing up to school with disabilities. That's motivation to me. At times I say to myself, man, it reflects. Like, I was over here complaining because Carter was upset because he couldn't wear a ninja shirt. Now I got an attitude at work, but then I come and I see these students with their disabilities or whatever they're facing, and they just want to be amongst people and have a day to just be able to be in my presence. So, hey, why am I complaining? I'm motivated now. I come and do, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about your mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard to find. It's not hard to find. It's just how you think, your thought process, and making sure that, like I said, even though we face things, we remember what our end goal is, what our heart is. Changing your heart posture from that negative to the positive, so important. And just being able to take whatever you're facing and use it as a tool to inspire and to encourage, because it may be ugly to you, but your ugliness has now been a blessing to me.
That's true. Okay.
And now COVID.
Now the inevitable. Dun, dun.
I don't really care to talk about COVID. I think COVID gets too much attention. How about you? I just think it really gets too much attention, and it's not a part of self-care, soul care. It's just crazy.
It's a lot.
I had COVID, and it was really ugly. It was difficult for me as a mom to have to quarantine and then my children.
Right.
And like I said, shout out to my support, my amazing boyfriend. He was great with my children, but it was difficult because they wanted to physically see me. My kids are never not seeing me. So I had to figure out, like I said, in something negative to make it positive. And I was on another side of the house and they were on the next side. And my daughter she would text me like, Mom, I can't do this anymore. I really want to see you. So I'm like, all right, I'll FaceTime. And, you know, so we FaceTime, and I spent hours on FaceTime doing those dinosaur faces. You know, the things that you can, oh, I'm a dinosaur. I have COVID. There's ways to make it work. Like I said, the mentality, all right, they need you, Mom. Don't come on there with the drowsy COVID symptoms. You got to show them, like, Mommy's going to get through this, and we're going to get through it together, even if it's spending hours on FaceTime. And I had to really take that and figure it out real quick and they laughed, and they were, like, so happy. I want to be a dinosaur with Mom next, you know? It was difficult. So I really feel like COVID gets too much attention. But it's all how we deal with it, honestly. I pray for whoever's facing it, if anybody lost loved ones to it, that, you know, we all can grieve and go through, and we can overcome, you know, somehow, some way. But that's all the attention it's getting from me. Next question.
I just always ask people their views and things on it, but you answered it beautifully, so I appreciate it. I had another question. lost my train of thought. Dang it. They'll come back to me. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Because I was thinking of the list in my head and I smooth forgot one, but it will come back to me. It'll come back to me.
Okay.
Anything else?
So I wanted to, speaking on finding the community, I told my viewers today that I was going to drop a surprise tonight. So the surprise is that I have created a Zoom, and it will be September 25th. And what it's going to be is, it's going to be Warrior Wednesday, and it's going to have a Zoom for Sister Talks. So we're going to have a weekly, or every other week, Sister Talk, where anyone can tune in, moms, married, single moms, whoever, women all around the world, where we're going to do activities that will help us like kind of grow. We'll talk about fun things. We'll talk about things that we're facing. It's going to be great. So that is my surprise, guys. You hear it first. The flyer will be out tomorrow. So tune in to my Instagram at Women of Reflection on Facebook and Instagram to get more information on that. But you heard it first on this episode.
Can you also send me that too, like the one-liner?
Yes.
I'm going to add in the description too.
I will.
I'll wait to say anything till tomorrow, but just send me that.
Yes.
So
I encourage, spread the word. Whoever's joining in, please share the flyer, spread the word. It's so important. And even if it's like, because I know in the week it's hectic, but I wanted to, giving ourselves what we need has to be prioritized.
Yes.
Okay, just like your hair appointment, just like taking the kids to the doctor. We have to make sure that we give ourselves that restoration and that time to rebuild, reconstruct things that we need, because how do you maintain? So we spoke about with self-care, how you have to pour yourself. Think about the plant that you water and so it can grow. So I want everybody to just spread the word. Tune in. If you know a friend, and you don't have to be going through, if you feel that your life is perfect, please join. You can still learn. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you're going through, please join. You can learn. If you're a mother and you're tired and your kids won't let you be quiet so you can join the Zoom, sit them kids down and make them join too. We're a family. We're a sisterhood. I get it. And I'm here for you. And it's just important to create a positive community, but I can't do it by myself. So I really need help spreading the word. So I'm asking everyone that's tuning in today and listening to just help me get it out there. It's free. It's Zoom. So no excuses. You can do it in your bedroom. You can do it in the bathroom, wherever you're comfortable. Join.
Just make sure you got pants on. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Just turn the camera off and listen. Just stay tuned to the audio version.
I cannot. And it's funny that we both came to this topic conclusion, because I have been thinking about that self-care and soul-care, and I kind of touched on it in different episodes a little bit, but I kind of like, oh, okay, that's just my little 2 cents. But I think a lot of people, females most importantly, don't, like you said, don't really focus on that much. Like, they'll talk about it and want to be about it, but you know, when it comes down to actually doing it for yourself, like, it's great you're talking about it and trying to help somebody else. Mm-hmm. It's like effortless sometimes. But when it comes to you trying to rebuild yourself up and give yourself nourishment, it's like, oh, well, I don't really need that. I'll go back to that later. And I think for me that ties in too, because I'm a procrastinator with certain things, not everything, but with certain things. And I feel like, man, I'll just do it tomorrow. But it's like, no, you got to do it right now and focus on it and build yourself up. Because you can't be, this is my opinion, on a platform like this, speaking about women empowerment like you are, the better you, but you're not really doing the same thing for yourself. Like, you're just giving all this out to other people, but as soon as the camera goes off, you're just like dying inside. And that's like not. And I've noticed that a lot, that even in the beginning, like the way beginning, I would just be saying all these things because I thought that's what you're supposed to say, what people want to hear, or that will get viewers. But at the end of the episodes, in the beginning, I'd be like, I still feel the same before I clicked on this live. But now I try to really cater to myself, and having to cut off relationships or friendships, and we spoke about this, about the energy too. Energy, the aura, the vibe of the person. I mean, even through a text, you can feel that energy through a text. And like I said, I'm an overthinker, and I can feel, like, I'm one of those people who, like, are you mad at me through like a one-word text? But you can just tell, you know. So I think it's good when you give it more than 5 seconds of your time to actually cater to yourself and make yourself better. Because if you're not making yourself better, if you're not healing yourself, you're just you're just hurting yourself at the end of the day. But I feel like eventually, like with anything, it will catch up to you, and you know, likely to do more harm to yourself than good. And we're all men too, not just females, but we all are kings and queens. So I feel like even men need some soul care. Even men need some self-care.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why I said it. Like collectively, as humans, we all do. But I think that it's difficult because a lot of us, sometimes I think the hardest part of going on a soul care journey is identifying where to start.
Yes.
So can I deal with the fact that I messed up? You know, I was married and it failed. Or can I deal with the fact that I'm a single parent and now my kids have daddy over there and I'm here? It's hard. It's difficult. But to me, I realized that when I put on this persona of we're okay, we're good, I'm still with my baby daddy. Like, no, that attitude didn't get me anywhere. I faked it and I thought I was making it. And I kept saying like, yeah, we got it. And where my reflection came in was I was not doing it for the world. I was doing it for my children. I didn't want my children to identify that there was problem in the home. And one day I decided to talk to them. I took them to a diner I would never forget. And I was like, order whatever you want. And they're like, you're not eating, Mom? And I was like, no, you guys, I'm just here for you to eat. So then they were like, what's the matter, Mom? And like, I was just like, nothing. And they were like, Mom, we don't have to do this anymore. Whatever's going to make you happy. Like, you want to move to Florida? Because they know I love Florida, guys. Like the beach, the weather, it was always for me, nature. So they were like, you want to move? We could, like, I want to move to Florida. Like, and I was like, no, why are you guys saying this? Mommy's fine. And as they started to speak, I started to listen. And they were really showing me that what I thought I was covering, what I thought I was hiding, they knew all along. So that showed me that what I was presenting to them wasn't something that was encouraging and something that they were like, oh, my mom is so happy, so we're happy. They were down because they knew I wasn't being the best me. And they wanted that for me as much as I wanted it for myself. But hearing them speak my truth to me was just like, oh, no, girl, the show has done. They knew all along time to quit and really be whatever I got to do. And they were so understandable. Shout out to my kids. Don't get me teary-eyed because, you know, that really... Shout out to the three of them. They're strong and they're real warriors. They're the true warriors in my life. So because for as adults, for us to go through and feel so lost, but for kids, it's hard. And I make sure that I am there for them and I really fight to give them so much because they want to see the best mom. And I will promise no matter what we face in life, I will give them the best and nothing less.
Best version of you.
Oh, yes, girl. That's that soul care version.
I cannot. I can't. I still can't remember this question, so it must not have been important to bring to the table.
That's fine.
So I'll be like, remember that question I had? Here it is. Did you have any other questions?
I will give my 3 gems just to share with our viewers today on how to, you know, it's good to put soul care over self-care. Yeah. You can have both, but I just want to leave 3 gems with everyone so that they know how to do it. So I just don't want to say, girl, go ahead and find your soul care. I want to encourage everybody to start with accepting and acknowledging. So it's important that you know who you are, the importance of where you are in that moment in your life, and to kind of do that mirror check to identify the good, the bad, the ugly, and the very ugly. It's okay. That's the first step. It's going to be hard, but it's going to put you in preparation for your next step. And the next step is defining your truth. Okay? So this may be a bit hard because it's a reality check. Yeah. And when you identify your truth, you start with the first thing that comes to mind, because a lot of people think that, oh, okay, I have to make this list. Yep. No. Yep. Whatever comes to mind. So what's the first thing that comes to mind? Domestic violence. Start with that. You know, what's the first thing that comes to mind? He broke my heart. Start with that. Don't think anymore. Make that your first step to accept and acknowledge, okay, he put his hands on me. He hurt me. I am a domestic violence survivor. What do I do with this information? Because there is power in that. There's power in that hurt. But you have to be able to identify it, to deal with it and accept it. Okay. I stop. I listen to my inner self. And that would be the road to defining your truth. And my third gem to share is living loudly and proudly.
Okay.
Woohoo! My favorite one, girl.
I like that one.
And to live loudly and proudly is to celebrate the fact that you can now be your authentic self. That is so important. You can say affirmations. You can do meditations. I love to pray. I love to listen to music. I love to sing, even if I'm tone deaf and can't. Like, because back in the days, you couldn't tell me nothing. But I sing in my car karaoke's as if I was on American Idol.
Yeah,
but back in the days, because, you know, we come from church and stuff, they used to call us the harmony queen. Like, we love to harmonize. You couldn't tell us that we weren't a group. I wanted to have a singing group called 718 because we were from Queens. So in my living loudly and proudly, that's a part of my authentic self. Singing is a part of where I come and where I'm from, because I was brought up in the church. And I may not have it because, you know, I feel like kids mess with this particular vocals. But having kids mess with it, girl, just a little bit. But it's important to live loudly and proudly in whatever makes you happy. And if that could be music, that could be writing, that could be Lana, who says she writes poetry. That, live loudly and proudly in that. Whatever it is to you, do that, and make sure that you're not putting it as something to the side to do. Each day should be a day that you pour into yourself to be your true self. That soul care it needs that. Don't water it once in a while, because what happens to your plants? They die. They need it daily. And it can be the most simplest thing. Don't think too deep. They need it daily. So find that, figure it out, whatever the solution is, whatever the problem is, define it, accept it, acknowledge it, and then live loud, live proudly, and that's it. And remember that soul care is the attention given for a wounded soul, and it's the maintenance to give you a healthy soul. So that's important. Take that. Write it on your mirror or on your, what is it called? The positive wall. Well, I have a positive wall, but I know people do, what are those things that they do? Brain freeze.
I like that positive wall. I like that.
I have a positive wall, but what do people do again when they cut the pictures out and do the boards? That thing.
Vision board.
Yeah, there you go, vision board. I have a positive wall because I'm an affirmation girl. So I do it with my children as well. We put like sticky notes on things that we are, because that creates, thanks Kay, that creates it creates the core values. It's very important. And for me, going through trauma and a lot of things in life, my soul care was so done because I started to believe everything that was said to me or that was done to me. I believed that that's who I was, and that wasn't my true authentic self. So in a positive wall, I can give affirmations to remind me that I'm great, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, and I'm a warrior.
You gotta send me those 3 gems. I wrote it in here for everybody to see.
I will.
I'm gonna put that up on my journal. Look at that.
And I want everyone to say it. Let's say it together. Soul care. Let's say it together, Donna, so we can seal this today, because it's so important. We want to really emphasize for men and women that soul care is important. So soul care.
Soul care. I'm mad late. I'm sorry. One more time.
Soul care.
There we go.
You say soul care.
Okay. Oh, you're doing one of those. All those things at the same
time. Yeah. This is important.
Don't mind me. One more time.
Soul care.
Soul care.
Is the attention. Giving.
Giving.
To healing a wound.
To healing a wound.
Or traumatic situation.
Or a traumatic situation.
A generational issue.
Or a generational issue.
To your soul.
To my soul.
It is important.
It is
important because it maintains a healthy soul.
Because it maintains a healthy soul. Where do you come up with these things? I need you.
That's all from the heart, girl.
I can't.
That is hair. That's why I'm a writer. Things just come to my mind and I'm like, I gotta write that down. I have so much things that I write that I think about, and it's in my journey because like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. But as I'm doing this, that I don't need to be like, have my final product. Like, oh my gosh, guys, look, I'm married again. Oh, it's a better relationship. No, I'm not selling that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through the worst of the worst. But I'm here today and I'm standing because I'm a warrior, and I want to take everybody on this journey of growing and healing. And we're starting with soul care, and then we'll do the self because we still like massages, and I like my nails done.
Yep.
So yeah.
Now that you mention it.
But it's important. We start with the inner and outer, and then we'll do that other one here and there when it fits in a budget.
So take that to heart, ladies. And I think there was a few gents here, but I can't really see. But definitely focus on your soul care, especially during this time. COVID should open some eyes and maybe change some perspectives. I haven't seen that yet, but maybe, take some time to reflect. Because if we don't come out of this a better person or whatnot, then I don't know. But at least take the time, at least one day at a time. That's kind of how I look at it, at least for me. One step at a time. Yeah. And definitely stepping out of your comfort zone for me.
I'm very big on that. I break it all down one step at a time, one day at a time. In that day, 1 hour. In that hour, 1 minute. In that minute, 1 second. And that's how you have to deal with it. Yeah. Very important. Don't try to take the whole load on. And while you're in this journey to yourself, don't try to do it. If you throw your whole truth at you, there's no way you're going to get up and find motivation. So I will say, in your soul care journey, start with that one thing, the first thing that comes to mind. And that will be the thing that, once that breaks, you're on to the next. And you're able to fly like me.
I can't.
Oh, thank you for having me. To everyone that doesn't know me, please tune in. Follow my page. Show me some love. Spread the word. I'm trying to make a difference here, guys. Just support me. Women of Reflection on Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget our sister talk on our Warrior Wednesdays. It's going to be Wednesday, September 25th at 7 p.m. And I will drop that flyer tomorrow, but you heard it here first. So thank you, Lana.
And where can we find your podcast?
So my podcast is streaming on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Google me and you'll see all the streaming platforms. Or just click on the link in my bio on Women of Reflection at Facebook and Instagram.
Good. Okay, because I meant to ask in the beginning, like, that was the question. See, look, you helped sister out. Was
that the question?
It really was. I smoothed the thing about the whole time. But usually in the beginning, when I have guests, I'm like, tell me everything about you. So you were born, then what happened? But I smoothly got to say, well, where can I find your podcast? Because everybody's not me. Yeah. They don't really have all your stuff ready. I did my research before this episode, so But
all major streaming platforms. Yes, sis.
Yes, I'm happy to have you. We should have done this a long time ago, but I know in due time. So I'm happy to have you.
Yes.
Anyway.
God's time is the right time, girl.
And you're always on here supporting me. So now look, number 4, my little 4 guests jumped up. My core 4 audience.
I wasn't number 3. I wasn't the number 3 that tuned in. Well, thank God I'm a part of the 10. I'm a part of the 10. So shout out to that.
No.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you, sis.
No, you are inspiration. Literally, every time you talk, I always feel inspired. But I'm happy to have you in my life and in this journey. So it's a blessing.
Mm-hmm. Really. That's an honor.
But I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm going to let you go. Because I feel like it's a Friday, but for some reason I feel like I should be in bed already. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like, usually I'm always up late, but I'm like, man, it's only 7:50 and I'm tired. But
no, Lana. But what I want you to do before we end, just a side note, I want you to, you said if I had more time, I can give myself a bubble bath before. Yeah. Please change that, okay? If that's what you need for soul care, there's no if I have time. Life gives us a new day every day. Make the time. Put it in your schedule. You have to, like, pencil soul care time in your agenda for the week, the day, whenever. And please, I want a picture of just your toes in the tub. Please, that's it. Please make it a priority. Okay?
Okay. I can
promise.
Pinky promise. I do need one, so I really do, because this year has been long. But
yeah.
I definitely feel like that's, for me, is my, rejuvenation, calming,
Yes.
thing.
You got to be your authentic you and give yourself and make yourself that better you, especially so that once you see that, you'll gravitate. Sometimes you're searching like, where's my man? Where's my match? Where's that? He ain't coming until you give that. Spend time with yourself and be the authentic you, and he'll be right behind you, child. Mine's done fell through the sky. I was like, oh, wasn't wrong. I wasn't expecting it. But I thank God for him.
Well, you are an inspiration and an example. So I'm like, maybe one day, maybe. We'll see. But in the meantime, between time.
You'll make me cry.
Between time, I'll be doing my podcast and my music. So that's my spouse. That's my significant other right now.
No, we're not claiming that. We're not claiming that. Your words matter. Your significant spouse is on his way. But right now, Lana has to make herself a priority so that she can just be someone else's priority as well. But you don't put you first if you're going to say, if I had enough time. No, put you first so that when he comes, you're already great. But then with him, you can be greater. That way, when he leaves, you can still be great.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? With him or without him, you're still great. And always remember that. That's so important. But you got to put you first.
It's true. Wasn't there a song called that? Put You First? I feel like there was a song.
I feel like it was a man. Gotta put that woman first. We don't want to. Not that one. But you can play that during your bubble bath. That's some bubble bath music.
Yes, after hour special. Yes. I can't.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. It's Friday night. I'm going to go be a mom now. Love you. Thank you, everyone, all my warriors that tune in. Don't forget, stay tuned to my page for tomorrow. I appreciate you guys. Lana, I love you. And we'll be doing this more often, guys, so it's not the first. Stay tuned for more. All right, boo. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, goodness. Well, that was a fantastic-izzle. Wonderful episode. But I appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody. There we go. For tuning in. I'm about to hop off this. I have my Friday night Bible study or group. It is important too. I feel like after every episode, at least if I read my daily affirmations, if I have my Bible study, or even if I read a scripture, it kind of centers me. It kind of centers me and kind of realigns my chakras. I feel like each episode I read maybe either my daily affirmations, a scripture, or from my self-care book, I feel like it kind of puts things in perspective. And I feel like that's my way of reflecting from what was discussed in this episode versus, just talking about all these great things, trying to make a change. And then as soon as you get off the live, you're instantly scrolling on Facebook or Instagram. So it's like, did you really get anything from it? But I feel like it's always good to just cater to yourself, cater to your mind as well too. But yeah, guys, that is about it. I hope you guys enjoy this episode, another great episode of Pure Sessions. And you can find me on, where can you find me? SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Anchor, Instagram, Line and Pure, the main page, and to get my daily quotes each day, it's on Line and Pure's Corner. You can find that as well. Also, my new album / EP, Parallel, came out last week, so definitely check that out. That's on Apple and Spotify, and I believe SoundCloud. There'll be a video coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And I think that's it. Yeah, guys, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday and the rest of your weekend, and do something today that you didn't do the day before. Anything else? No, that's it. Have a good night, guys. Peace.